Ooh yeah, our favorite, dead rails. I know, it's been a while, right? I want to start off by apologizing for the long break between uploads. Things were a bit rough lately, but everything's fine now and I'm finally back on track. From here on out, I'll be posting videos every other day again. So we're back to that rhythm, just like before. Anyway, enough talking. Let's get straight to it. Because we're only a few days away from the next big update for Dead Rails. As you all remember, the last major update we got was the bite-sized mode and weapon revamps Part 1 update. And if we look at how the devs work, it's pretty clear what's next. Part 2. Rico Miller himself said it. Weapons that have not yet been changed and have not had their balance adjusted yet. So yeah, the next update will focus on finishing that work. Rebalancing and reworking all the remaining weapons in the game. And not only that, you know, instead of going through the obvious stuff, like remodeling the rifle, I want to focus on what could be coming. The concepts and suggestions that actually have a real shot at being added. Because as we've seen time and time again, the devs really do listen to their players. A lot of the new things we've been getting lately started as fan ideas. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you already know that the best place to look for what might come next is the Suggestions tab on the official Dead Rails Discord. That's where a ton of great ideas come from. And usually the devs pick the ones that either get a ton of stars or just make sense for the direction of the game. Like the weapon revamps, the new models, or even that Dracula train I covered a while ago, which actually got added later. Same thing with the new classes like the Ghost class and Frankenstein. So yeah, while not everything from these videos ends up in the game, some of these concepts really do show up eventually. And that's exactly why we keep doing this. So before we dive in, quick reminder. If you enjoy these breakdowns and want me to keep making them regularly, drop a like and subscribe. It seriously helps a lot right now and keeps me motivated to push out new videos every other day again. Anyway, let's begin. Let's start with something you probably already saw in the thumbnail. The minigun. I know. It doesn't sound like it fits Dead Rails at all. A wild, futuristic gun in this dusty, haunted Western world? But hear me out. We've already got ghost classes, vampires, and even a literal Dracula train in the game. So honestly, at this point, adding something purely for fun doesn't seem that crazy. The idea here is simple. The minigun wouldn't be some overpowered meta weapon, but a super rare find. Something you only stumble across once in a while. Imagine it having about a 1% drop chance, maybe from a building or as a rare item in a shop. That way it keeps its balance, staying special without breaking gameplay. The gun itself wouldn't deal massive damage. In fact, its per bullet damage could be lower than most guns. But where it shines is in sheer chaos. A 100-round magazine, high fire rate, and the satisfaction of mowing down entire hordes in seconds. It would feel amazing in short runs, or even just as a meme weapon. You wouldn't pick it for efficiency, you'd pick it for that rare moment when you actually find one. You hold down the trigger, and the world just disappears in a storm of bullets. It's the kind of fun overbalanced weapon that adds character to the game, just like the Excalibur or the Ghost class did before it. Now let's move on to one of the community's most creative minds, Elysium. If you've watched my previous videos, you already know who he is. The guy constantly drops ideas that feel like they belong in the game already. And this time, he came up with something really cool. The Tesla train. This train would be all about electricity, literally powered by lightning. It would cost around 450 bonds, putting it in the same price range as high-tier trains. Its base speed would be around 70, but what makes it special is how it handles fuel. Instead of burning through coal like crazy, it uses electricity. A single lightning bolt would fill 75% of its fuel and give a temporary speed boost of 115 for 20 seconds. It wouldn't stack, so you couldn't abuse it, but it would make gameplay way more dynamic. What's cool is how the mechanics tie in. Lightning bolts from the Electrocutioner class would still charge it, but at a smaller rate, maybe 25% fuel per bolt. But random lightning from things like the Excalibur or Holy Water wouldn't count. The Tesla train would also consume coal 50% slower than normal, meaning it's efficient, powerful, and visually stunning. Imagine the sparks, the glowing lines across the metal, the thunder echoing as it rushes across the tracks. It's a train that looks alive. Next up, there's another fan-favorite concept that's been gaining traction again: the Werewolf class remodel. The idea is that if you have the Werewolf class equipped, your character actually starts transforming during nighttime. Not into a full beast, but partially. You'd see visual changes like glowing eyes, clawed hands, fur details, maybe a darker aura. It wouldn't just be for looks either, and the transformation could slightly boost your melee speed or agility, making night gameplay way more intense. It's such a simple but perfect concept, and it fits right in with what the devs have been doing lately. They've been remodeling weapons, classes, and even environments to give them more personality. Seeing them do something like this for a class as iconic as the Werewolf just feels like the logical next step. Alright, the next idea is big. It's basically a full update concept built around a new location: the factory. Imagine discovering a massive abandoned industrial complex in Dead Rails. Something rare but unforgettable. The factory itself would span 3 floors, with each level feeling darker and more claustrophobic as you go higher. As you climb to the top floor, you'd reach the Overseer's office, a small, half-broken control room overlooking the entire factory. And that's where you'd find both lore items explaining the factory's story and a new weapon: the wrench. The wrench would have this faint golden glow, not too flashy, but enough to catch your attention in the gloom. In combat, it's a fast-charging melee weapon, dealing around 55 damage on a charged hit, which makes it one of the best early-game melee tools. It even works for mining, just not as efficiently as proper tools. Scattered across the lower floors, you'd also find another weapon: the lead pipe. It's more common, rusty, weaker, but still handy if you're desperate. The whole factory would have that gritty, industrial horror feel. A place where every corner creaks, every sound echoes, and every step feels like something's watching you. And the boss? The Overseer himself. A tougher zombie with about 300 hit points, dealing solid melee damage. Nothing too insane, but enough to make you nervous when you're trapped in those tight hallways. The factory wouldn't just be another loot spot, it'd feel like its own mini-dungeon. A place where atmosphere matters just as much as rewards. So yeah, that's everything I wanted to go over today. A look at what could be next for Dead Rails, what fans are suggesting, and how it all ties together as we head toward the next update. Again, I just want to thank everyone who's been patient while I was gone. I missed making these videos, and it feels good to be back. The next few weeks are going to be packed. We'll probably get Weapon Revamps Part 2 really soon. Maybe even a few surprises the devs haven't teased yet. I'll be covering all of it here, so make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on so you don't miss it. And as always, if you've got your own Dead Rails ideas, maybe a new class, structure, or biome concept, drop them down below in the comments. I'm always reading through them, and who knows? The devs might be too. Thanks for watching, thank you for the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one.